G'day and welcome back to Sticky's Workshop. Today I'm going to be trimming this bolt so that I can use it for an application that it's too long for. The bolt in question is a grade 8.8 high tensile hex head bolt. It's metric. You can see we've got this shank section that's unthreaded. We've got a threaded section, and I believe we can test it with this. The measurement for this is M8, and I don't know what the pitch is. We can find that out as well. So for the pitch, we're going to be at there, so going to be about 1 mil pitch. So 1 mil pitch, and in terms of the thread size, measures out at about 8 mil. So it's M8 by 1 is the thread on this bolt. And today I'm going to be trimming a little bit off it. So to do that, got to measure how much you want off, and what I'm going to want is this bolt being able to screw down almost the whole way, but not quite. So I want to have a few threads left at the end, plus 6 threads, in this case 6 millimeters, because I'm going to build a submarine kind of thing. Well, not actually building a submarine, but that's what they use in submarines. They have 6 threads on the end, so that's what I'm going to do, because submarines are strong and I want what I'm building to be strong. Kind of crazy logic, but it's fun, so I'm going to do it that way. So I'm basically measuring where the bolt is going to be, and then I'm adding on 6 millimeters, and that's where I'm going to mark the bolt to cut it. Great, so you can see there I've got it all marked out. Tricky to see, but that's where I'm going to cut it. So head over to the vise with my saw and I'll cut. Great, so now I'm over at the vise with my bolt that I want to cut, and what I'm going to do is clamp the section that I'm cutting off and leave just shy of the end of the jaws of the vise. I'm just going to leave this little section here so that I can kind of guide the blade with the edge of the jaws. So chuck it in there. It doesn't matter if you damage these threads on the end, because we're not going to be using those anyway. We're going to be chopping those off. You don't want to be crushing the usable part of the bolt, because then you risk damaging the stuff you actually want. So don't do that. Crank it down a bit. Don't need to crank it down too hard, just as long as it doesn't move. And if you have this nice and close to the end, you're going to provide less torque when you're pushing down. It means you're less likely to move the bolt around. If you're cutting down, say, this end of the bolt, you're putting a lot of pressure down here. It's not going to hold as well on the jaws, so it's not going to work as well. Great, now you can see, I don't know if you can see that very easily. There you go, focus. You can see you've got a bit of a dag on the end of there, and that's not going to thread nicely, and you sort of risk cutting yourself on that, so you really want to avoid having that there at the end. So there's a couple of things you can do. One thing, while you're at the vise with your saw, put it down there against the saw, against the vise. There you go. Just break that off. That's a lot rounder. And the next thing I'll do is I'll just file it down a little bit so it's a bit smoother, and then we'll run the bolt over it, and hopefully that'll mean we'll have a usable bolt. Right, so here we go. Got our vise and our file. And this is just a really basic file. Fantastic. Now I run my fingers over it. There's no sharp bits. I run my thread over it, and it threads in really easily. That's how you cut a bolt. Make whatever bolt length you want. Thanks for watching.